them to stand up on the wall the whole time.
Yeah, is it that apartment life wherever I've seen you guys record jam when you go to a pub? I absolutely love it. Would you like like a whole coordination thing? I just like as a DJ. I want to be involved. I want to do that. Imagine when I go home.
The man them too inconsiderate, 5-star hotel smoking cigarette, mixing codeine up with a Finnegan. She got thick but she wanna get Finnegan, drinking apple cider vinegar, wearing skim cause she wanna be Kiminin. Alright, I know that you're bad, stop acting innocent. We ain't got generational wealth, it's only a year that I've had these millions. My whip could have been in a Tokyo drift, cause fast and furious. I went from the Toyota Yaris to Urus, they had their chance, not moving. Now this gal want me and her uterus, fuck it, I'm rich, let's do it.
Take a look at these diamonds, wrong as a life for squinting, can't just stare. We're bathed through thick and thin.
Alrighty, let's get straight into this. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Put a little, let's do a little 888 in the old chat if you guys can. Hey, what's good? What's going on, Marcio? What's good, Tom? What's good, Charlie? What's good, James? Good, Muller, I hope. Priyesh, what's happening? What's happening, Carlos? What's happening, boys and girls? So, with no further ado, let's get straight into this. We're going to record it and then. Yeah, so what I wanted to do today is I found, how am I? I'm amazing. Thank you for asking, bro. How are you? But what I wanted to do today is I want to, man's coming from Mongolia. Yo, I think you're the first person I've ever seen from Mongolia on our Zooms, eh? That's crazy. Oh, you're good? That's amazing, bro. So anyway, what I wanted to do today is I want to do three main things, right? Two of them are going to be mixed together, and then one of them is going to be something different. So the first thing I want to do is go through a little trade breakdown that happened, like a beautiful back test that happened yesterday on Euro USD. Again, forget Mondays, right? For now, I just want to sort of show you guys, price action. It's been a while since I did a good case study on these Zooms. And also want to show you how to, because a few people are asking me like, what's the best way to use the bot? How do we, not confuse taking like random entries on it? And then obviously from there, we'll get into the market outlook. So obviously, if you guys do have any questions at any point, you guys got any charts you want me to go through, more than happy to review any charts, more than happy to look at any markets. Just after the first sort of like 20 minutes on the training, maybe, I don't know, we'll see how long it gets. Then we'll get into the outlook and then I'll start looking at your guys' chart. So again, when it comes to like understanding our trading plan, right? I just want to really simplify it. And I remember I went over this at the meetup we did. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago in London. And I know a lot of people had some really like crazy breakthroughs from it because obviously like when it comes to Wyckoff, when it comes to using, multiple time frames, it can get a little bit confusing sometimes, right? Especially when you've got, all these different time frames to trade from. But what I wanted to do today is really simplify it for you guys and show you an example. And the best way to really simplify it is when you're sort of trading, right? And obviously this is really simplifying it to the bare bones, and I want you to write this down, is that you always need a minimum, right, of 2 time frames in your direction. And this is going to be for the highest probable trades and probably bad spelling trades as well. Right? But when I say minimum of 2 time frames, what do I actually mean? So when we go to the chart, obviously it's our job to assess the trend, right? We need to know who's in control. That's the first question, obviously, we need to answer. So, when we go to the chart, right? Obviously, this should be the first thing in your mind, right? The Wyckoff price cycle. And I hope you guys can see the price cycle. Put a little 111 if you can. Double check you can, otherwise I'm just yapping for no. Okay, perfect. Thank you, bro. So obviously, how is trend trading and direction traditionally taught? The way that trend trading is traditionally taught is complete. Right, I'm gonna be raw with you lot. Right, can I be raw with you lot? I'll be real. I'll keep it real all the time. But like the normal way of trading is absolute bullshit because it is designed to literally make you lose. So when you go through like 90% of education online, right, what's it teaching you? It's teaching you higher highs, higher highs, or some sort of order cock or fair value crap nonsense. What we want to start to focus on, right, is the laws of Wyckoff, right? And remember, there's 3 laws of Wyckoff that you must master in order to be a profitable trader. Of course, a bit of psychology sprinkled in is going to help as well, more than help. But all right, obviously, the first law is the law of supply and demand, right? And please do not, all right, do not like get this wrong. This is super important because if you don't understand who's in control, if supply or demand's in control, you're going to be trying to buy down trends, trying to sell up trends, and you're just going to get absolutely smacked. And this is like, again, when it comes to like the scanner and the bot, this is how I filter my trades. So first thing is on any sort of trade, the law of supply and demand. So it's very simple. Supply is sellers, and demand is buyers, right? And when supply is in control, you're going to see this market cycle on the right, where the market will be obviously trending down. Generally, you'll see it moving down. But how that's actually going to manifest, it's not going to be like lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? What we're going to look for is areas where price is manipulating highs and then break into the downside. And from the highs of those manipulations, that's what's maintaining our structure. And when you see an area that you have, for example, the downtrend, a manipulation of the highs, and then a break to the downside, you're not just looking at it like single area like this. No, 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 right? You want to see the whole area. And that whole area is going to be one of your 4 Wyckoff schematics, of course, right? You've got your distribution, right, where the market's trending to the upside, manipulating highs, breaking to the downside. And obviously we've got our redistros where it's trending to the downside already, manipulating highs and breaking to the downside. So when we see series of these schematics together, so like distro, redistro, this is our bearish market cycle. And of course, we're only looking for sellers to be in the market, right? We're only looking to sell. We're not going to be buying when we see distros and redistros. Now, the opposite, right? A bullish market when demand's in control. You'll see an uptrend, it'll be higher highs, higher lows. But again, we don't care about that, right? Because all this is getting ready to be manipulated. We want to see the market manipulate lows, then break to the upside. Look, we're not coming in and saying, oh my God, the market had a break of structure. Let's sell here. No, 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 no. Listen, Linda, honey, right? We need to see the whole area, give a manipulation, then give the real move. So one way you can sort of think of it is like a traffic light, right? Where the market will be trending to the downside, it will stop that downtrend, it will prepare a new trend, and then the new trend will continue, right? Then as it starts its uptrend, it will stop, it will prepare, and it will go. It will stop, it will prepare, then it will go. And again, during that sort of sequence where it's stopping, it's preparing and going, you're looking for the market to create highs and lows, sweep the lows, and then break to the upside, right? And then when you see a series of that, so like for example, it's manipulating lows, breaking to the upside, manipulating lows, breaking to the upsides. This is showing us that buyers are in control. So when we see that, we're looking to now play buys. So now when we go like for example on like Euro USD yesterday, right? What did we see? Right? We saw the market initially during London session do what? Right? It was initially selling off, right? It was selling off, downtrend. It was redistributing, right? You see here, manipulating highs, breaking to the downside, right? That's our redistribution of price. But again, time of day, right? You know, this is like late on a Friday. We're not going to trade that late on a Friday. Then what do we see happen? We then see price accumulate, right? We see price come in, manipulate lows, break to the upside. Now, at this point here, like let's say we're sitting here, right? Are we looking to be buying? No, because at this point, right, and this is now, so the first law is remember following those market cycles. At this point, you know, sellers are in control. The second law, right, is now the law of cause and effect. And you said it exactly, James, right? Cause and effect. It's what did your schematics do? So you might come to the market, see a redistribution here and say, all right, sellers are in control and we're bearish from here. So that means you have a line in the sand on this high, which is basically showing you like, this is the origin, this is the start of this sell move down. Because the only reason the market can move from here to here is obviously there's more sellers. So at this point, right, the sellers are in control. So even though we start seeing buyers come in and it accumulates, I'm not bullish just yet. I'm not buying it because what did that schematic do? Again, this is the next law, the law of cause and effect. What did your schematic do? Like you can see a schematic, but what did it actually do? It's like, you know, let's say that was a wild example now, but like, you know, like there's so many things in life that you can have, but if it's not doing anything for you, it's not going to benefit you, right? So when you're seeing a schematic, let's say it's an accumulation, I'm not just going to instantly start buying it because I see it. No, I need context. Or I need to combine all together. So if I'm seeing that we're in a downtrend, well, I don't care about its accumulation. But now when I see the accumulation, buyers come in and it's so strong, it knocks out the area where the sellers are. Because remember, sellers came in here, pushed the market lower. Buyers came in. At this point, sellers are still in control because that's the origin. That's where they started. But when price eventually comes up and breaks that line in the sand over here, this is now our true break of structure, right? Or a booth, a break of order flow, right? It doesn't matter what you fucking call it. You call it whatever you want. But this is now a true trend shift because you haven't like, because again, think of how many times you see lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, break a structure. Yay, let's buy it. And then you get smacked because that's not true structure. Highs and lows are not true structure. True structure is when you're going from schematic to schematic to schematic to schematic. So can we all see here when obviously where the arrow ends, this is now where the downtrend ends and the uptrend begins. And now what does the market start to do? We can see it enters that bullish market cycle, right? And we start to, so we accumulated, but then we start to reaccumulate, right? And when we see that reaccumulation, this is what's confirming the buyers are now in control. And now if we sort of bring it back to what I was saying, and this was like the breakthrough a lot of people had at the meetup in London. And again, we're going to do another meetup in April, May, July. We're going to do another meetup in July as well. So make sure you have your calendars marked. It'll probably be around like the 24th of July, 25th. So definitely keep your calendars ready. But Now we've got a reaccumulation, right? Now I think about it. I've got out of the three Wyckoff laws, the law of supply and demand. This now, who's in control? That's the question I have to answer. So chat, let me ask you this. Who's in control in this chart now? Supply or demand? Buyers or sellers? Who's in control? Let's see if you guys are paying attention. Supply. Supply? What do you mean supply? We're going out to school. All right, no problem. Buyers, that's all good. All right, look, cool. Let's make sure you understand it. So when you see, all right, like that's all good, right? So supply is when you have, like, for example, over here, right? Because the schematics have not been broken, you see it's like redistributing, redistributing, redistributing. It hasn't broken another redistribution, right? It's all just sort of flowing down quite nicely. But when you see it accumulate and it breaks that supply, that's a true trend shift. So when we go down here, the only reason the market moved from point one to point two is because there was more sellers in control. At that point, yes, supply was in control. But now when it goes from point two to point three, only buyers are in control because the only way the market could have moved from this high down to this low is if there was more sellers. So sellers came in here, sure. But now the only reason the market could move above this area is because there's more buyers in the market. The buyers had so much strength, they could knock out the sellers. They defeated the sellers. The market's in a constant fight between buyers and sellers. And at this point here, when you've seen a schematic be broken, right? It accumulates and then breaks, sellers are no longer in control on this time frame. Does that make sense? Yeah, you're right, Carlos. We did break supply, 100%. So this is now where we've answered the law of supply and demand, which again, the question you want to ask yourself is, who is in control? So obviously everyone says demand, apart from you. It's all good. We got it now. Does it make sense now, bro? If not, let me know and we'll stay here until you get it. Don't be afraid to. Oh, you just testing me, was ya? This guy. Cool. Yeah. You cheeky. All right. So yes, demand's in control, right? Perfect. That's the first question you have to answer. Second question. Now, obviously, there's more advanced ways of answering that question, and there's more ways to build confluence. As a trader, remember what we are is we're a lawyer and we're building evidence. Like, I'm not gonna go and say that fucking Alex is a murderer, but just because he was in the same country as a murder happened. It doesn't make sense. I have to build evidence to convict him. When you trade, you don't just see one thing and then all of a sudden start fucking pressing buttons. It's like, oh, the fucking AI scanner called a spring, it called a UTAD, fucking start selling. No, like open your eyes, build context, be a lawyer and collect evidence before you risk your capital. That's how you have to start thinking. It's not just, oh my God, there's a fucking signal on the scanner and you just blindly take the trade. No, right? You have to answer these questions first because now we know that demand's in control, right? And if I put on one of the settings, right, and it calls a short here, all right, let's replay it, and it calls a short, wait for it. Am I gonna, now we are gonna have some settings soon where you can filter this. I'll show you how to start doing it in a moment. But am I gonna take the short? No, I'm not gonna take the short. But Kieran, why is the scanner calling the short? We'll get into that in a moment. It's another law. But you first have to answer this question. And if demand's in control, I'm not looking to short at all. I'm not going to do that. Now, after that, the next question you want to ask yourself is, and the law is the law of cause and effect. So, all right, and this is how you can confirm who's in control. So like this law confirms this law, right? So how do I know that demand's in control? Well, I know that, let's keep this back. I want this one, right? How do I know that demand's in control? Well, again, the question you want to ask yourself is, what did your schematic do? What did your schematic do? Right? What did it do? You know, your girl goes on a girl's night out. Cool. Doesn't matter. But what did she do? You know what I'm saying? You see her twerking on some next man. All right, now it's a problem. You know, she goes out of her girls. It's cool. You do your thing. But you see what I'm saying? What did it do? Law of cause and effect. So when we see an accumulation, I'm not just going to fucking start buying. When I see that the accumulation invalidates supply and breaks that zone, bang. Now I've got two laws in alignment. And this is, I think, the easiest part to do because you just go to the chart, you know, just mark up boxes, and it's not that hard. I think everyone, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I'm pretty sure everyone here can know the market direction 8, 9 times out of 10. It's not that hard to see if the market's uptrending or downtrending, is it? And if you disagree, let me know and we'll spend more time on this. But I think most people can get that right. The hard part, right, is now the third law, which is the law of effort and result. And the law of effort and result is now how you enter the market. Because obviously we only want to enter, because think about the narrative. We're reading the market, we're saying, all right, buyers are in control. Then we're saying, well, where are the buyers in control from? Well, we can see this reaccumulation, right? So we know that the buyers are in control from this low, from this low, right? The buyers are in control from this low. So obviously now I want to know when big effort, big orders, big buyers are coming into the market. And now this is why we've created this tool because this, in my opinion, is the hardest part. So, and this is now how I use it. So when I come into the settings of the scanner, right? Like well, honestly, I just delete the stat table. You know, a lot of people are super obsessed with the stat table. I really don't care about it anymore because like again, it doesn't always factor in the other laws of Wyckoff. You know, like here it's calling a short, but of course we already spoke about why we're not going to short it. So when it comes to the settings of the scanner, think of it as like a preference table. So like for example, if you want to not trade Mondays, you turn it off. I mean, just the example I'm going to show you. It was on Monday, so we can keep it on for now. But like, let's say you don't like trading London session, you keep it off, so you're not going to get alerted during London session. Normally, I set my alert on the scanner in the session, right? So think of it this as a preference table. So that the filters, again, don't obsess about the stat table, right? Think about the filters. When do you want to trade? What sessions? What days do you want to trade? Do you only want to take one trade let it only call one trade at a time? Do you trade prop firms? Because some prop firms like TopStep, they only allow you to enter the trade for one day and you have to close it by 4 p.m. America time, which is like I think 9 p.m. UK time. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't live in England anymore, but it's like 3 a.m. out in Thailand. You got to close it. Now, when it comes to like other settings, right? There's one setting. Now we are gonna have a 9:10, yeah, 9:10 UK time. There is a trend filter right here. Now we are gonna have some new settings where eventually you can, and this is why like some people couldn't claim it yesterday because we updated it and then we broke it. But like there is a trend filter. So for now, you press like daily trend, and the scanner has its own way of assessing the trend, but you have to agree with it. So you see now how the background's gone red. You see that, right? I'll turn it off. Now again, we will have a setting soon where you can just do buy or sell. It'll be a lot easier. But like, I don't agree. It's gone red, so that means it's bearish. So now it would only spit sells. But for me, my opinion, my laws of Wyckoff, because remember, this scanner does the law of effort and result. It doesn't do the law of supply and demand. It doesn't do the law of cause and effect yet. We will have that soon. Now, when it comes to oh yeah, no, it's all good, brother. You can use it with IC markets, bro. You can use it with with anyone you want. We actually have a broker, and our broker has better spreads than IC markets. IC markets charge between $3.50 to $7 a lot. We charge 2.5, and we're FSCA regulated. If you want a link to that, I will drop it in the chats later. But the point is, right? So I use this as like a filter. Now I don't agree that it's a downtrend. So I might press RTH continuation. Now, if it goes green, now it's agreeing with a bullish bias. And now it's not going to spit out any shorts. And for those who are obsessed with the stat table, of course, it's going to affect the stat table. But I don't care about that. Now, so when it comes to oh, you got the link here? Cool. I appreciate you, bro. There you go. You can use the link here for the broker. So for now, just think of it as another word of buy or sell for now. Again, we are going to get rid of this feature, so that's why I don't want to like explain too much on what it actually means, because we're just going to change it to like bullish or bearish. But for now, check what color this fucking screen is. You know, like if it's green, you're gonna get buys, right? But honestly, for me, I just keep this off for now. I just keep it off. I CBA with it. And again, eventually we're gonna have a feature. We tried implementing it on Sunday, but it fucking broke everything. Yes, this is recorded. So now, because I've got my bias, right? One thing you also want to remember is what broker you're using. So this is important. The scanner was created on Oanda, right? It was created on Oanda. You can use other data feeds, but it was created on Oanda. So now there's different type of signals it's going to spit, right? There's two signals. You've got the A signal and the OB signal, right? Again, we're going to print these out soon. OB signals, right? These work better on Oanda data feed, which is CFDs. Your A signals, which is based on volume, right? That works better on futures charts because obviously futures is regulated. CFDs is more based on price action rather than volume. So for me, right, I like to take these OB signals on CFDs and A signals on futures. Now, if I get a signal where it does OB plus A, holy, right, that is fucking golden. But now, how you want to start to use this to trade correctly? Remember, we've assessed the other laws of Wyckoff. All right, chat. What are the laws of Wyckoff? What are the laws of Wyckoff? What are the three laws we spoke about? Silly in demand? Shiloh, what are you talking about, bro? Man, I know you're speed typing there, bro. All right. Cool. The law of supply and demand. We know that demand's in control, so we ignore sells. The law of cause and effect, right? We know that buyers are definitely in control because our accumulation broke our supply. Right? Now, the hardest one is effort and result because this is now how you enter. All right? And this is why I love using this tool because I don't need to spend this much time on the chart anymore. Because once I've got a notification on my scanner, right? I fucking let the market do its thing. And look, now when it's ready to enter, right? It calls the entry for me. It tells me when to enter. Now, obviously, the settings for the stop loss and entry and TP can be tweaked, right? I don't always just blindly follow these. Now, again, you can tweak these for like how big you want. Just play around with them. Like, for example, if you do it, change this from 0.5 to 0.1, it'll put the stop loss on the low of the candlestick, a bit more precise. Obviously, the risk rewards are going to be preset. But again, I always just base my actual targets on the chart, but you can use TP1s and TP2s as like a 1 to 5 and a 1 to 2 if you just want to be like kind of default. But again, like for me, what I love about the scanner is this allows me to enter without, I don't want to say without thinking because I still think, but it gives me the extra confidence. Like I was speaking to a few people across the weekend, doing a few Zoom calls, and they were saying like this scanner now finally gives them the confidence to take their entries. Because obviously, when you go to the market and you go on a lower time frame now, right? Obviously, we'll talk about like the micros and shit right, in a minute, and I'll validate some better entries. Like, of course, we can come in and see it now accumulate, but sometimes, right, especially for news traders and even experienced traders, it can get a little bit, sometimes subjective. Of course, we have validation criteria to remove that, right? But for me, when I see that signal being called, that's what gives me the confidence to take it. Now, I've got a choice. When it calls it, come back. I turn it off, right? When it calls the entry, right? I can just blindly take it and put my stop below the low of the wick, right? Or I can go in and refine it. Now, one thing that you do want to do as well is set the alert on multiple time frames. Because like if you're just trading the 1 minute, like I didn't get notified just on the 1 minute. right? It's not just the 1 minute. You see, it doesn't call it on the 1 minute. So what I'll do is when I'm looking at one pair, right, because you should only really be looking at one market with this, I'm going to set the alerts on the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 50, so I can get notified and get that confluence. I don't need it on every time frame, but when I see it, that's what gives me the confidence. Oh, you're right, bro. It's definitely not a be all and end all. Like, there's no silver bullet in trading. Like, that's the thing. A lot of people think there's one silver bullet they can come in, it's gonna fucking make them rich. No, like life doesn't work like that, you know. This is just confluence. This, for me, the reason why we created this and the reason why I use it. And now remember, I've been full-time trading almost fucking 10 years now. The reason why I've used this and I'm continuing to use this now is because it makes my life easier. Like, for example, yesterday, right? I wouldn't have known this entry confirmed itself because I wasn't on the charts. You know, so having this is like literally the AI scanning the market and telling me when there's a lot of effort coming into the market. This gives me the confidence to now take that trade on top of just my trading plan. So yeah, and it just really reinforces your entry. Now, of course, it still can lose. I'm not saying it's 100% perfect, but now it comes to personal preference how you want to enter, right? So now when it comes to, like, let's say go into this, bro, if you want, yeah, I do have that. You can, I'll send you the link for it real quick. Send me a message here and I'll give it to you, bro. So now now this gives me the entry. Now if I want, now I can take this. The scanner on gold is different. You're up 3% so far. Let's go, right? I can take that, and go for a 1 to 2 and try and go for a 1 to 5, 1 to 6, right? But like, let me show you now the secret sauce. So we've been notified. Remember, we know all the laws of Wyckoff are met now. We can take the trade because we've got the law of supply and demand. We know buyers are in control. We've got the law of cause and effect, right? Which we know the schematic can validate another schematic. Now, the hardest law is knowing if buyers are actually entering the market or not. And of course, by the way, if I didn't mention, when you have a schematic, if I didn't mention this, this is really fucking important. This is quite important. You have to wait for price to come back and retest the schematic. That's super important because, like, if it starts calling a trade up here, for example, I think the 1 minute called a trade up here. I think somewhere up here. Yeah, look, the 1 minute calls a trade here, right? But again, where am I? I'm not in a demand zone. So what clarifies my demand zones is these basically retesting the 50 and 80% of the reaccumulation. So I'm not going to take that trade because of where it is, right? But now when it comes back to my zone, integrate to Telegram notifications. I mean, why would you need Telegram notifications if you have TradingView notifications? I mean, it can be done, but I don't know why you'd need that if you have notifications on TradingView, you know? So now the scanner confirms it should always ping you, bro. Maybe it might be your settings on TradingView. Now I've got that 100% confidence. Like, because I know sometimes, right, a lot of people, they'll look at a market and they'll hesitate, or they'll be like, oh, I don't know, like, if this is 100% confirmed. Motherfucker, the scanner says, look, right? Obviously, all financial disclaimers do apply, right? If you do use this, make sure you agree to all of these terms, right? But the point is, right, it's giving us that indication that there's a lot of effort coming into the market. So now what you can do is either blindly take it, like, there's been sometimes, like, I'm really busy, like, for example, on Friday last week, there was a trade on S&P it called, and I didn't have time to do my refinement. So I just took the signal that it gave me, the entry, the stop loss, and the targets, and it hit all of them. But I like to honestly go the extra mile when I have time, and I go into a lower time frame, and that's when I try and play the lower time frame continuations. Because now remember, the scanner called that there's a lot of effort coming into this. So this validates that accumulation for me. And obviously I can come in, I can say, I can, look at my, one drive, my two drive, my three drive, my sweep, my break. Yeah, cool. All right, and I can now start, trying to play this. Now, obviously, now again, this is the point of using that scanner because it's telling you, look, motherfucker, buyers are coming in the market, start trying to trade it. So then when it went on the seconds now and it printed this little reaccumulation again, high, low, high, manipulation lows, break to the upside. This is what I decided to play. Measured that manipulation. Limit, limit on the 50, stop below low. And now remember, it called it on the 2 minute. All right, where's it gone? Come back. All right, it already called it on the 2 minute. So I've got that extra confidence to take the trade. And for me, I just like to target like session highs and the highs of my leg. Put some liquidity there, target the high of your legs. And then there she goes. The rest was just gravy. Now, again, like I think for me, when I saw it hit this high here, the New York high, what was it? Yeah, that's when I closed the trade. Now, the risk reward I ended up taking was like a 1 to 10. I think my stop loss is a bit botched. Let me put it back to where it was. Oh, yeah, let me put that right. Stop was obviously below the low. 50. Low. Yeah, it was literally around a 1 to 10 we caught within the session. But now, like, I'm not going to be paying attention to all these little calls on the 5-second time frame. I'm not going to take these sells and these buys and all this shit. No, because I'm doing that a narrative. Does that make sense? And obviously for the trading plan, this was model 2. Does anyone have any questions about how the scanner called it, how we validated it with a plan? Now, obviously, I don't like trading Mondays, but the model is the model. Regardless of the day of the week, the model is the model, So forget this is on a Monday. This is still a completely valid setup. Now, obviously, after that, it does whatever it wants to do. Again, I'm done. Like you hit TP, you're done for the day. You're not going to bother trading. So now when I'm, personal preference, bro. Like it really comes to personal preference. So like, let's say just it calls it on the M2. You can look at the risk to rewards and say, look, well, do I really want to take that as a 1 to 3 to the high of my session, my target? Or a 1 to 2, I'm good. I personally wouldn't want to really take that unless it's like a 1 to 5 at least. So in that case, that's when I would go to the seconds. But now sometimes, right, like I'll give you context. So like I think it also calls springs as well. So like it called where was it? See down here, right? When it's building this reaccumulation, and this is an example where you wouldn't have to go to the yeah, bro. There's a free 3-day trial, a free 7-day trial for the scanner. If you want to use it, you can try it out. I'll drop the link. But yeah, so like in this case, this is where I wouldn't go to the seconds. Now, obviously, let's say you got your break, you got your booth. You again, three laws of Wyckoff, supply and demand. Right? We know that buyers are in control. Cause and effect. Right? We know that buyers are in control. We invalidated supply. Now it's doing the hard part, effort and result for me. In this case, when it's calling the entry here, obviously you've got to be a little bit quick. Now, because I'm on trade and view replay mode, I can't pinpoint, the actual entry. But like in this case, yeah, you could take your entry, market execute when it calls it, stop loss below the low. And you can follow the suggested targets if you want, or I would look to target the new high. Then boom, you got your 1 to 10. In that case, you wouldn't need to go to the seconds. Does that make sense? And obviously, I'm not going to take the short because I'm bullish. And then now I'm waiting, the one we played like that. Then I'll set, and now obviously at this point, then I'll just wait for it to come back to my zone. And then now, so I'll show you how I use it like live with confluence in my analysis. Remember, like the scanner's not replacing you, right? That's the thing. It's not replacing you yet. Bro, so like, I mean, you can get it to fully replace you if you're using it on like just OB entries, using higher time frames. Like obviously when it comes to like the stat table and shit, right? You have to take every fucking trade it calls. But I don't do that. I don't really care about the stat table, I just focus on my stuff. I mean, yeah, COT data, economic data, that's all stuff that's done on the weekend. You know, like that's not like that's really part of my bias. Yeah, you know, and it does call great trades. I mean, we do have like track records, and we are going to have a fund soon. We will have a fund where you can connect this, and it will eventually automate your trades. But for now, like again, I don't really care about the stat table because again, it doesn't factor in all the rest of the context. Yeah, I mean, bro, there's a 7 day free trial on it. Um, yeah, if you're in Nathan's group, ask him for the link because he's got like a special link for it. Um, and then yeah, just try it out. But like obviously it's not going to be like picture perfect, you know? Like again, logic, this is how I'd use it. So like, let's say I've got the settings on Euro USD. Again, I'm in a downtrend, right? Distributing, redistributing. And then I'm coming to London session, right? This is how you put it all together, right? This is how you, this is the source here. This is the source here. Get ready, right? We're in now. We know law of supply and demand, downtrend, redistros. We're bearish, right? We haven't invalidated any demand yet, so we're still bearish. Sorry, we haven't invalidated supply, so we're still bearish. And you see here, what does it do? It gives the highest probable entry, the OB plus A. It's calling the UTAD of a redistribution. So now, again, I don't blindly just copy everything it gives. I apply my logic to it. So let's say when it calls that and goes towards the targets, what I would do is I would go in, I'd zoom in to the time when it called, because obviously it gives an alert live, all right? And then I zoom in to when it calls it. Where was it? All right. So like, for example, let's go to the 15 second. So, all right, okay, just so we don't get confused. I'll go back to the 15. I'll turn it back on and I'll highlight the area where it called it. So the scanner called it here, right? Like on this blue dot. So let's say we jump down to the 15 second, right? So remember the scanner notifies you. Now, obviously, I'm not going to use it like on every single time frame and take everything it brings. But now when we see it manipulate that high and it's called it on the higher time frame, and then we're seeing again, right? And then this blue line was when it called the alert, like here, right? Apply the Wyckoff logic, supply and demand, cause and effect, right? Redistro comes in, builds a redistribution. You come in, you place your entry on the lower time frame. You know, it's up to you if you want to offset it or however you want to decide to enter. You know, maybe, you don't like the risk to reward on this one. So maybe you refine it again. You come in, see it distribute, you see it redistribute, right? Maybe play a limit on one of these smaller ones, after 80, right? You get a nicer risk to reward. But this is how you use it. You don't just fucking take, like, I mean, you can if you find nice settings, but I don't just blindly fucking take everything it calls, Like, I apply my logic. So, like, I'll show you in a minute how I use it live. See, again, it called it here. When did it call it? Like, I think it was here. Yeah, it called it here on this candle close. Oh, where is it? Here. You get your notification. Then I mean, you can blindly take it if you really want, right? But I'll then zoom in, look for that lower time frame refinement, and then once I start seeing my distros, my redistros, and my trend shift, and get my 2 time frames in my direction, that's when I personally execute it. So I'm not replacing my trading plan. And again, look, it called a buy, it lost. I'm not fucking taking that buy, am I? Because like we said, we're bearish. Yeah, so I still use my, so again, you still have to have a trading plan, right? So your trading plan is either one, you don't fucking think and you take everything it fucking calls if you like the stats. And I normally find like the stat table works better on like higher time frames and that sort of stuff. But again, I personally use my plan. So like for me, it's like I do my analysis, I have a POI, and I have the alerts on the scanner. So like I'll show you an example of how I use it. But before I go through the example of how I use it, does that make sense? Has anyone got any questions on it? Apart from how to use it live. But like how I use it live, obviously where you go. It does its thing. Where was it? And obviously there you go. Those little refined entries obviously went on an absolute tear up. If you were to place those entries, I mean, let's clear it up now. Obviously, this is just a back test for now, but We're giving a little 1 to 5 to those lows, you know, a little 1 to 16. And obviously you can see the potential if you would have held a runner, you know. Obviously, we're not going to talk about targets, but you can just see the potential of what it could have given. So, like, how I use it now for me, like, let's say, for example, we go on a fresh chart, right? And let's say we go on S&P 500, or like, well, yeah, I'll get into the market outlook in a second. But like, let's say I'm on YM today, right? And I'm trying to trade YM, right? Well, or let's say NQ for whatever reason, right? All right, cool. So let's say I'm looking at NQ, and I'm like, all right, NQ is in my demand zone. I'll answer that question about journaling in a sec. Right now, it's in my demand zone. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in. It's in my demand zone, right? Now, shit, it's calling a shit ton of entries. But what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna fucking follow everything it calls. You know, I'm gonna start going through my filters. I turn off London, turn off NY pre-market because I only trade these during New York session. You know, now what I'll do is set an. I'm gonna ignore all the other fucking ones it calls. I don't care about them. But let me turn off backtest mode. Yeah, so I like to turn off backtest mode as well, so I don't see all the old trades. But now it's live. So what I'll do is I'll right click here, right click my indicator. Where is it? Okay, sometimes you got to turn the stat table back on to turn the indicator to set the notification on. So again, I ignore the stat table, but when it comes on, come on. I think you got to put it there. Come on, trading view. Load for me, please. There we go, right? Right click, add alert, and now I'm gonna let it notify, and now I can let it give me notifications for when the 15 minutes calling a signal. So the 15 minute, then I might set one on the 5 minute, right? Might again, I ignore the stat table. I don't focus on that, right? Because I'm building confluence, and I'll set notifications on different time frames. Now, once I've got the notifications on, I turn the stat table off because I don't care about it. Now I'm going to wait for it to notify me. And then when it notifies me, it's going to tell me there's a lot of effort coming into the market. Oh, really? Okay. Apparently you can play. Oh, even better. So good shout out to you, bro. So yeah, even easier way to set the alert is press the three dots. Appreciate you, Shallow. Yeah, I didn't even know that. Learn something new every day, eh? We can just add an alert in here and you get notified on that time frame. So again, I set them on different time frames, like maybe the 30 minute, the 15 minute. And I want to be notified, you know? And again, like if you're using futures, sometimes you can try them on different time, like NQ, MNQ, and you can just really build that overall confluence when it comes down to it. Does that make sense? So like again, I'll show you another example. Let's say we're going on GBP USD, right, to trade it. All right, I'll do my analysis. So let's say I'm looking at GBP USD, right? And again, we're going to get into the actual market outlook shortly, and I'll give you my real analysis. This is just a quick analysis just for the sake of it, right? Like, let's say I'm like, all right, I'm bullish for whatever reason, right? Cool. It's in my zone. Now I'm going to be waiting for it to call out an entry on one of these time frames, maybe the 1 hour, maybe the daily, and I'll set different. Obviously, I'm not going to trade the fucking daily time frame. But you know what I mean? Now it's in my zone, I'd wait for it. Like, let's say now, okay, it's come into my zone, into the 50. We've seen it start to accumulate down here on a lower time frame. Now, if it calls, let's say a 15-minute or a 30-minute like signal in here, well, I've got to turn the settings back on. Because remember, you got to change the settings for different markets. And I would recommend sticking to one market and just like probably scalping just to get quicker, like more data. But obviously, like on GBP USD, you can trade that during London. You know, so now, all right, it's calling a potential buy from here off an absorption. Now, again, I'm not on futures. All right, let me make sure I'm on Amanda. So for me, like when it comes to like the signals it calls, I like to take the A1s if it's futures and OB if it's CFDs. So in this case, it's a CFD. So I'm not really going to bother too much on that. But I'm still notified there's a lot of effort coming into the market. So I'm not going to take it blindly. But what I could do is go on a lower time frame and I could start coming in and adding my refinements, if that makes sense. So let's say I come in now, it's calling it, go to like the 3 minute. All right, what have we started to do? Now, realistically here, we haven't got much manipulation. It's it's pre-New York session. I wouldn't really want to be trying to trade here, but let's just say, we go to like the 1 minute. And obviously, you can have it on here. Even did call another entry in here. You can see, let's say, okay, accumulated. Hasn't necessarily boofed just yet. So, I mean, I wouldn't take an entry just yet on this. I'd want to see it like, and this is just now I add my analysis to it. I'd want to see it sweep some liquidity. And then now if it calls one of those signals down here, I'll definitely take it. Does that make sense? So I'm using it as notifications. I'm using it as confluence on top of my trading plan rather than just blindly following it. If that makes sense. Remember, there are two different types of signals. A is based off volume. OB is based off price action. So like, for example, in here, right? Again, I don't really trust the A signals. So if I'm on a CFD chart, again, what's a CFD chart? Right? Oanda, FXEM. It was coded on Oanda. So on Oanda, I turn off when I'm doing it personally, I turn off the absorption signals. All right? I turn them off because the reason why is the A absorption is based on volume. And volume, the only chart that volume is consistent is on the futures markets. Futures market, so GBP USD doesn't have futures. You'd have to go on British pound futures and then go to CME. On that one, you could use the absorption A signals. But where I'm on Oanda and I'm on, see, GBP USD Oanda, that's what it was coded on, I'm only going to go for the OB signals. Does that make sense? So like, let's say now it comes into a POI in here, it's coming in. And obviously you have the scanner on. Again, I'm in replay mode, so it's going to be really hard to catch it. But it calls it basically on the engulfing candle. It's like here it would start to call it. Boom, it calls it. You can, oh fuck me, that was quick. Again, trading view is hard to, on the replay feature. Like it's hard to pause it on replay. But in real time, depends on the time frame you'd have time. So like, in this case, if you wanted to, it comes in. Oops, yeah, I'm not going to be able to catch this on replay mode. Dexterity trade. Yeah, I could come in, I could place it like this. Let me try one more time. I'm not going to waste your guys' time doing this. Come on. Are we going to get it? Drum roll. Drum roll. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Right. Now, obviously, in real time, you're going to have a couple minutes to get it. Or a little bit longer. But in that case, could have called the OB one, looked to swing them up to those highs. Obviously, manage the trade, he hits TP2. Like that's the best way to really start using it in that example, rather than just blindly following it. Obviously, take partials as it goes. Now, again, let's see, it's calling an OB. I'm not gonna take that as a short, I'm bullish. Should journaling your trades be done minutes after you place the trade or end of the week? That is a great question. When it comes to journaling your trades, right? This is when you journal your trades. So you're going to have two things. You're going to have a trade diary and you're going to have a trade journal. Two different things. A trade journal would look something like this. Now, again, this is an example of my journal. If you don't have this, and make sure you message me. Again, this data isn't real. This is just simulated data. You can just see it's fucking from 2022, 25. There's just random fucking points. But like a trade journal is a record of the trades you've executed, right? And that way you can get statistics like your win rate. You come to chart data. You can see what type of pairs do you win more on, what days of the week you win more on, what sessions you win more on, right? What entry signals you win or lose more on. So like a trade journal, you can collect data and say, all right, maybe you did a sample of 20 trades, right? you go, all right, cool, I've got a sample of 20 trades. Let me now look at my statistics. For example, out of those 20 trades, it says, okay, I actually was losing, again, this is simulated data, I was negative 2% counter trend trading. So for my next, hey, what's going on, VGOG? For my next sample size, I'm not going to take that. You know what I'm saying? Or if I say, okay, Mondays I'm down 1.8%, Tuesdays I'm down 0.5%. My next set of 20 trades, I'm not going to trade on those days. And I'll compare the statistics. That's what your trade journal's for, to see commonalities. You also want to have a trade diary, right? Your trade diary is like a diary, right? It's a fucking diary. So what I do in my trade diary is I basically write down what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling before, during, and after the session. So the journal is like a data collection, like you just put in, your entry, time of day, stop loss, take profit, session entry, trend, day of the week, screenshots. Your diary is more like, all right, cool. This is okay. I'm looking at GBP USD today. I'm bullish on GBP USD because of this. All right, I'm feeling a little bit sad because I lost a funded account last week. Whatever fucking thing you want to write down, right? You write down your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. And that way you have an accurate insight into your brain and your thinking during that trade. Because like if I go back to, again, this is just simulated data, but if I go back to this trade on US, again, random trade I logged, it's not even a trade I took, but like on the 5th of March, I'm not going to remember what I was thinking from March. But if I can open my diary, I can see 5th of March, what was I thinking? Let's say that was a losing trade. But what was I thinking? Oh, I was actually deciding to buy that day, but then why did I take a short? Oh fuck, I can see the exact point where my thought process changed and why. So you want to have a diary whilst you analyze, and you want to have a journal to collect the data. And how you create, bro, in terms of how, like you don't create a strategy. Like that's the dumbest thing. I'm sorry, bro, but like that's the dumbest thing. You do not create a strategy. Like you copy, right? Good artists fucking create. Great artists, the best artists in the world, they all fucking steal. That's what you do. I stole my strategy. Bro, I fucking paid the mentor a shit ton of money and I stole his motherfucking strategy. You know, like what 6ix9ine says? Fucking stole that shit. Right? Like, I'm not smart, bro. I can't create a strategy. I mean, I can. Let's be honest, you can create a strategy, but that's going to require thousands of hours of back testing, tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars of capital, and years of your life. Nobody got time for that. I'm going to spend 10 years trying to fucking build a strategy myself. I ain't got, bro, like, I'm being real with you because there's no guarantee I'm going to get anywhere. But if I can find someone who's already got what I want and just copy them, that's what's going to work for me. And that's how humans learn, right? We learn through copying people, not signals, not copy trading. But you learn to walk by copying your family. You learn to talk by copying your environment. That's why you have an accent. Would the scanner work on props? Yeah, bro, 100% you can use it on props. So like this Euro USD trade, I didn't take it, the one I showed you earlier. I didn't fucking take that on my personal account. I would never trade a Monday on my personal account. But on a funded account, bro, I literally give two. I don't care about a funded account. You know what I mean? A funded account's not my money. I'll blow a funded account every day of the week. I don't care. But like on a funded account, I'll take this on a funded, no problem. Again, context, I've been full-time trading a long time now. If it's your first funded account, don't do that. But again, like how would you do that? Let's say the scanner calls the entry here, right? Obviously, you can apply your refinement on it if you want, but you just go on your broker and line up the price points. So like when it called my refine entry, obviously the scanner called the entry. I went in, I refined it. All right. Wait for it. Like if you're on top, like again, say on a firm, you just go on, line up the same price action, put your limit on the price action of where you want to put it, and do your stop loss. If you're using like a firm like Top Step, they've got what's the word? They've got like a trading view built-in platforms. You wouldn't be trading Euro USD, you'd be trading Euro futures or the micro Euro futures. If you're trading CFDs and you don't have futures, you want to download this, Earn Forex PSC. And obviously make sure I'd probably recommend using our broker with the lowest spreads in the world. and it's FSCA regulated. Like, bro, like I could have charged you lot hella commission, bro. I got DM'd by a broker the other day, and I shit you not, they told me, bro, you can make a lot of money with our broker. I said, how much? They said they will charge their clients $25 a lot. Do you know how much that fucking is? Bro, $25 a lot? Oh shit, I'd be rich. But you lot would get absolutely fucked. We taking the minimum, we're taking $2.50 a lot. To give you context, IC markets charge you between $3.50 to $7 a lot. We're charging you $2.5 a lot. And we have better spreads than IC markets. And we also have all account types. Again, but download this. This is called a position sizer calculator. So when you're like on your broker, you ain't got to sit there and think about what lot size do I use, all this shit. You just basically add this onto your MetaTrader. And then you can like, I mean, there's a whole tutorial on it.
Hello traders. In this video, we'll go this tab.
But when you add it on, like you can basically like just put in like how much risk you want to do, put your entry, your stop loss, and it'll do it for you, if that makes sense. Right, we will get into the market outlook in a second and see if we can catch any trades together. But I just want to make sure everyone's got their questions answered before we get into it. Yeah, remember that. So I hope that makes sense in terms of how I use this scanner. Like I don't just blindly take it, right? I build my confluence on top of it, and I let it pretty much do, that law, the Wyckoff laws for me. Bro, fuck, like, honestly, bro, like, fuck the stat table. I think we probably cursed ourselves putting the stat table on the fucking scanner. Like, I'll just be real with you, bro. Fuck the stat table. Because again, like if I'm focusing on the stat table, it's not gonna counter. Like for example, here, right? It's not gonna counter in certain logic. Like I think where was one of the settings we had on? I think it calls a short at some point. All right, when did it call a short? Where was it? When it did. But like the point is, it's gonna call signals that are just not valid. Like, I'm not going to take every fucking thing it calls. Like let's say I just go on the 1 minute, I think up here. Where was it? Yeah, like here, here. Like here, look. Obviously, if I look at the stat table, of course it's going to affect it. Like it's calling a short here, it called a buy here. Why am I going to take that? So remember, the stat table doesn't filter those other laws of Wyckoff. That's why I just don't even use the stat table, honestly, anymore. Like, unless, now, again, like the track record I put on the website, that is on, markets like Euro USD, but with very strict settings on the higher time frames. Again, if you want to follow the stat table, you got to take every fucking trade it calls, and you got to refine it. But for me, I don't do that. I'm just going to be real with you. Like, I don't do that. I don't take every trade it calls. Eventually, we're going to, like I mentioned, we're going to have a fund, which is going to trade it for you, but I wouldn't even worry too much about that. Is it possible that we might not understand or realize our feelings at the time? 100%, bro. That is literally the biggest reason why traders fail in terms of psychologies. Right? And even you, bro, this guy, Nick, you're saying you have difficulty following your trading plan. This is why, same thing as what Hamza's saying. You're not aware of your emotions at the time, right? The problem is not, and this is the thing, everyone thinks, right, oh, I'm not an emotional trader. It's like, I'm not an emotional. Are you a human? Are you a human being? If you're not, why the fuck are you here? Right? If you're a human, you have emotions because we have two sides of our brain, right? We've got the left side and the right side. So when you own, this is the thing, technicals are important, but that's only half of your trading. This is what you do, right? You train the right side of your brain, your emotional patterns, the emotional side of your brain. It gets to a point. So how do you know when you should stop developing technicals? You stop developing your technicals once you've been given a trading plan. You haven't created your own fucking plan. Do not talk to me about creating your own plan, right? You would not teach yourself how to fucking do surgery. You know what I mean? Go to medical school. You get a trading plan given to you. I don't care who it's by. Fucking someone that's profitable and has profitable students, right? None of these fucking MLMers. That's another school for another day. You then send your technical analysis charts to them until, for example, our group, send it in. When you get to a point where you're getting 9 out of 10 charts perfect, 10 out of 10 charts perfect, or you're not getting any feedback on your technicals, you know your technicals are good. Now, what you have to do is calculate your efficiency rate. How many times do I follow my rules out of 10? You take 10 trades, you break your rules 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. You have an emotional problem. Now you have to switch your focus from the charts to yourself. There's a few things, but what you have to, there's 2 ways of solving this. And again, I don't want to spend too much time because I've a shit ton of questions and I've got to get through the outlook. But there's 2 ways you fix it, the emotional trading. You have the short-term solution, then you have the long-term solution. Short-term solution, what you have to do is identify your triggers / signals / and I'm really bad at spelling, don't judge me. Biological oh, for fuck's sake, right? All right, what you have to do is identify your biological signatures. What does that mean? Every emotion is physical in nature. An emotion is not feeling. Emotion is not, oh, I feel sad, I feel happy, I feel angry. What's actually happening is from a survival. Now, this is going to be a long explanation, but when your brain, right, perceives information, it sends it through 2 routes, what we call the high road or the low road. And this is pre-decided for you. This is not logical thinking. And this is based on experience and survival. I'll give you an example outside of trading and we'll bring it back. If you're in a jungle, right, and you see a fucking saber-toothed tiger, do you have time to think about if it's going to kill you or not? No. You're walking fucking through the streets of London and you see a bunch of man them chilling on the block and they're starting to call you over. You see a bunch of gangsters over there, right? You ain't got time to think. Your brain goes into fight or flight instantaneously to keep you alive because of that risk of uncertainty. When you go to the charts, there's risk of uncertainty. Are you going to win? Are you going to lose? Is it going to go up and down? You're dealing with money, which is your sense of survival. To your conscious mind, it's just a fucking line on a screen. To your emotional brain, it is life or death. Right? I'm not talking about your logical brain. I'm talking to your subconscious mind. This is the thing that's the background application that drives all your decisions. So what's happening is this, your brain is getting the senses, so your charts, and there's like a traffic cop inside of here. And what he's doing is he's taking that information and automatically deciding if it's going through the high road, which is more slow and accurate, where you can like consciously and logically think about it, or it go through the low road, which is fast, but it's dirty, right? And it's not accurate. This is why you go to the market and you think, this is a great trade. My trading plan presents itself. And then you hesitate. Or you take the trade, it loses. Then you go back and you think, why did I take that trade? This trade doesn't meet my rules. Because the traffic cop took the information you saw and sent it down the low road. So you have to completely change your traffic cop's experience so he decides that that information doesn't go down the low road and goes to the high road, which is slower and accurate. But the problem is you've never been taught to train your brain like that. You've only been taught more technicals, more charts, more charts, more charts. And don't get me wrong, like that's part of it, right? You need that. But if you've only ever developed your technicals and not developed your emotions, and the thing is, like, we can go in our group chat, right? And we can see, I can show you every single person who's got payouts. For example, from Harry's $50,000 payout he got from Top Step in one fucking month. To, I remember Jay's first payout. I remember fucking Ibs' first payout. Like, every single one of their payouts, when you go in the group and see the pin message, it's always the same fucking story. I spent years developing technicals. Nothing worked until I developed my psychology. So the point is, you have to start developing the psychology. And the short term to do that is identify when the traffic cop is making these decisions for you. How you do that is the traffic cop will create emotion somewhere in your body. Now, emotions don't always mean angry, happy, sad. It can also mean something like your heart rate spiking. Right? One of the best things you can do is buy a cheap heart rate monitor off Amazon or fucking somewhere from China, right? Get a cheap heart rate monitor, and then go into your room, turn the music, some calming music, like some meditation music, and just sit for 5 minutes and breathe and see what your heart rate is. If you've got an Apple Watch, you can do that. And just see what your heart rate is. I mean, first time I did it, bro, I brought a heart rate monitor and it was literally like $7 on fucking Amazon, right? And see what your heart rate is. And it'll probably be around like maybe 60, 70, maybe 80 beats per minute, right? It's be nice and slow. But then once you get on the chart, you'll see your heart rate go to 100, not 200, right? You'll see it go to like 90, 100, and you'll see your heart rate spiking and going crazy. When that heart rate spikes, that's your emotional center activating. That's the traffic cop sending information to that dirty road that's going to be fast, it's going to make you act fearful, hesitate, don't trade, risk less, or aggressive, enter early, over leverage, revenge trade. Start hedging, start buying when you're selling, So the problem is we're not aware when the traffic cop is kicking off. We're not aware when he's aroused. Right? So you got to identify when he's aroused so that you can act. But how do you act? You don't use your alpha mind. You don't think your way out of it. You don't power through it. You know what you fucking do? You do the opposite. Right? So if you hesitate when your emotions start going on, what do? Fucking take the trade. But the point is, you have to be aware of the signatures. Because if you see your heart rate going on, and then you realize, right, I always hesitate, this is why you have to journal, or you have to have a diary. Right, my heart rate's going. Every time my heart rate goes, I hesitate. Take the fucking trade. All right, every time my heart rate goes, I overtrade. Fucking walk away from the chart. Right? So now, you can get to a point where those emotions affects you less, and this is the long-term solution. Now, I'll give you an easier way to fix it short term is, again, pay attention to those signatures. Heart rate, your breathing style, fixation to the screen. Like maybe your wife or your parents or someone, depends on how old you are, call you for dinner and you're like, or lunch, I can't get off the charts. Or your boss is like, bro, get back to work, and you start getting pissed off. You're fucking emotional. You can't leave the screen. You can't stop trading for a day. You start having an inner debate in your head. You start over analyzing. You're doing more, thinking you're going to make more, right? You have tension in your shoulders, right? You have to study yourself. It gets to a point you're like, bro, the scanner fucking makes trading so much easier for you, but the scanner's not going to solve all your problems, right? You have to be able to also have the self-awareness of, wait, am I being emotional? Am I revenge trading? Now, the long-term solution, so again, what you can do for that when you identify those signatures and triggers is you walk away or do the opposite of what your default is. The long-term solution, I'm not going to have time to go through this now because we'll be here all day, but I will save that for another training in the future. But basically, you have to redesign your belief system and start to reprogram your subconscious mind through affirmations, through trauma releases. Again, that's a whole nother combo for another day. We'll do that another day. But I hope that makes sense. For your diary, should we include what you have done the day prior, trade, maybe see if they have, I mean, like only if you feel like it's affected you. But that's the point. If you're doing the diary every day, bro, you're gonna have that archive of what's been going on, Like, let's say, for example, if I've had like for me, like if I'm diarying every day, I notice that if I have a winner, that's when the losing streak starts to come. So after a winner, I don't fucking trade. I turn off, like, bro, I hit 1 TP, I turn off the computer, I walk away, I'm done. You know? Futures for funded. I trade my personal accounts, but also futures for funded. Personal accounts is the best thing you can do, bro. Like, I don't get me wrong, fundeds are okay, but like, don't be the guy who only ever trades funded accounts because they completely fuck up your psychology. Like they have unrealistic profit targets. They have all these fucking restrictions on it, right? Trading your personal account is so much better. Now, obviously, in our on our broker, we also have a feature which allows what we call 10x accounts, which basically will 10x your equity because we've got some Basically, we've got a liquidity provider that will 10x your equity in your account. Yeah. Well, so I mean, if I hit two TPs, I'm done for the week. One TP, I'm done for the day. Two TPs, I'm done for the week. But again, now this is where you also have to know yourself and your own data, because for me, I can take two losses in a row, have a winner, and I'll go, I'm fine. Some people can't. This way, you got to follow your data, you know. Um, and like I think the best thing to do with trading, is always make a decision, write it down, and test it over time. So, for example, say, all right, I'm gonna take 20 trades based on, if I win one trade, I'm done for the week, right? Or, for example, let's say you say, all right, I'm gonna take, I don't know, okay, if I hit two stop losses in the day, I'm turning off my computer, right? Test that. And let's say you realize every fucking day you hit two, because this will happen to me. I get to a point, I'll take a loser and I'll turn off my computer. I'll take one loss and I'll be done. Then I'll go back and look at every fucking day. Wait a minute, I'm hitting a stop loss, and then the fucking winner's coming. Why am I turning off the computer? Oh, because I heard some fucking spastic on Instagram say, oh, trade one trade a day. Shut up, right? Let me listen to myself. Let me listen to my data. Now, when I say listen to myself, I mean listen to my data. Now, data, that's why you have to journal and study yourself. It comes to a point, yeah, for me, I don't really study the market that much anymore. I'll be real with you lot. Again, I've been doing this 10 years. Now, of course, I still go back, I still talk to my mentors, I still try and learn new things. But my main focus now is myself, my performance, what I'm doing, what are my patterns. Because that's the edge. It gets to a point, once you're good at technical analysis, obviously you keep growing. That's another thing. Don't stop growing. Because when I quit my job, listen, when I quit my job back in, fuck, when was it? It's almost 8 years ago now. Fucking hell. Damn. I feel old. But almost 8 years ago when I quit my job, you know what happened? I almost had to go back to work. I blew all my funded accounts. My personal account went in fat drawdown, and I started crying, bro. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? I just quit my job and now I fucking lost all my money? What the hell? And the reason was because I stopped doing all the things that got me to that point. Every day, I'll be speaking to my mentor, I'll be educating myself, developing my back testing, journaling, working on psychology, all these things. And I stopped doing that. And my trading went downhill. I'm 27, bro. Yeah. So the point is, don't get too big for the little things, otherwise you get too little for the big things. I see it time and time again, bro. It's the same story, right? People have some there's two types of people, three types of people, right? You get the people who think, oh, I can do it by myself, right? And they fucking never make it, right? They hit me up 3 years later. Kieran, I'm still not profitable. Yeah, motherfucker, you thought you could do it yourself. You know what I mean? Then you get the second type of person who they'll, for example, be a great student for a few months. They'll get too cocky, think because they'll get a payout, get a few winning trades, they'll think they're the top dog. And then they get too big for the little things. Now they get too little for the big things. They get cocky, they stop educating themselves, they stop hopping on the calls, they stop learning, and then what happens, their trading starts going shit, and they hit me up, Kieran, what happened? Bro, I was making money, I got payouts, now I'm losing. Why didn't you come to the meetup? I didn't think I needed to. Bro, why don't I ever see you on the Zoom call? Bro, when was the last time you sent a chart in the group? That's fucking why you lost it, because you got complacent. Then you got the third type, the people who get to that point of being funded and get payouts and they sustain it and they keep growing because they're still learning, they're still educating themselves, they're still being a student, you know? And that's it. How does it work with a 10x account? So it's not similar to a prop. It's still your money. But if you click this link, all the, I think, where is it going to work? Wait there. all the information will be on the website right there. If you click this link, brother, you'll be able to see all the stuff for the 10x account. But basically, what it does is because we've got an institutional liquidity provider, we can 10x your equity on that account type. So if you deposited, again, this is all. I can't tell you what to deposit. I'm not a qualified financial advisor. Trading involves risk. Your capital is at risk, right? Let's say someone deposited $1,000 US. What your balance would be 1,000, but the equity on your account would now be 10,000 because we're 10x it. So that would basically mean that you've got $10,000 of capital in your account so that you can trade bigger markets like the NASDAQ, S&P, US 30 without, now obviously, let's say you lose a trade. Let's say you lose $1,000, right? $1,000 is 10%, right? You would just lose 10% of your personal balance. So the percentages mine up. You only lose what you can deposit. So if you make 10%, you make 10%. But it's obviously easier to make more because your equity is bigger, if that makes sense. And obviously when you're trading with well, no, because that's what I'm saying. Because now regular leverage, you're only leveraging your equity, and your equity is matched to your balance. So if you deposit 1,000, you've got the 1 to 500 leverage on that. What I'm saying is with a 10x account, you deposit 1,000, your equity's 10,000. Now you got the 1 to 500 on that. Does that make sense? The leverage is applied to your equity. Yeah, it's that. That's what it's based on. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's why I stopped using IC markets as well, bro. Because their fucking fees and was running up. We literally got the lowest in the world. It's fantastic. Again, I could have, I could have put the fucking fees up. Bro, I could have charged fucking $25 a lot. And that's what most of these brokers these days are charging. Like, you ever seen those signal groups where they're like free signals? The reason why it's a free signal group is because they're fucking eating off of you. And the thing is, a lot of these brokers like Pew Prime, you're gonna see, right? They're all getting shut down, right? Half of them are illegal, and a lot of them don't have the money to pay people out. And that's another thing, right? Last thing I'll mention about the brokers before we get into the outlook is 90% of brokers in the game, they do something called B-book, right? What's a B-book, right? Good, yeah, they have good spreads, but I guarantee you they fuck you on the commissions. Like that's the thing. It's not just about spreads. It's all about commissions and how much you pay per lot and your swaps as well. We literally have the lowest in the industry. But this is the thing. Most of these brokers, including that one you just mentioned, right? I'm gonna have to be careful what I say because this is recorded. $4 a lot is a scam. We charge $2.50, bro. So last thing I'll tell you, and this is like an industry secret. No one's gonna fucking want to tell you, right? I always want to keep it real with you lot. Right? I'm gonna give you lot the truth. There's two types of brokers. 95% of brokers, they do something called, I think I got the terminology correct, but they do something called B-book. B-book is you deposit your money and it's a demo account. Even though it says it's a live account, it's actually demo. Oh, but Kieran, it says live. And? Bro, I can make your broker say fucking Andrew Tate. I can make it say you're a wanker. I can make it say whatever, bro. You know what I mean? Just because it says live doesn't fucking mean it's live, right? That's what they do. This is the industry secret. What they actually do, right? And we A-book because we actually have institutional liquidity, right? We're FSCA regulated. They say it's live, and the reason why they demo you is because if you put $100 in, 95% of traders lose. So they put you on a demo, they pocket that change, and then if you want to withdraw, which is very rare, of course they're going to give it to you because they never put it on the live markets. We're actually connecting you to an A-book. That means you're actually getting your trades filled on the real market. So when you're, for example, and what does that mean? That means you get better trading conditions. You get filled at better prices. You get you know about all this slippage? Y'all know slippage? Obviously, that happens in real accounts as well. But don't even get me started, bro. That's why I got banned off FTMO because these motherfuckers, oh mate, these fuckers, right? They will slip you. They will increase the spreads. We don't do that because we're connected to the real fucking market. So like, you ever taken a trade where like this is your stop loss is here, and the market doesn't come near it, and you lose? Has that happened to anyone? Put a 1-on-1 in the chat if you've ever been stopped out and the market has not actually hit your stop loss, right? It happens. That's because the broker is B-booking you, not putting it on a real account, and they widen the spreads. So when the market comes up to here and your stop loss is here, they fucking widen that bitch, take you out, keep your money, or I mean, it's never fucking, you know what I mean, losing your account. That's what they do. That's what they do to you. Super gay. Why are you gay? All right? Super. So the point is, like again, like obviously I'm not a financial advisor, right? I like to put my like obviously I don't recommend you a lot of brokers. You know, this is the only broker I've recommend or not I can't recommend it. This is the only broker I'm affiliated with in the last I've been educating like 4 years now, something like that publicly. This is the only one I've ever published. And yeah, our fund will be connected to this. So that's going to be our next thing. So our next thing we're going to do. So obviously, if you want to use that and check it out, just look at the conditions, look at the spreads, look at the account types, try it for yourself. Right? Look at the commissions when you place a trade. We are FSCA regulated. But the next step now for the Master of Coin group is we are going to launch a fund. We're going to launch a hedge fund. So I mean, you can see like some of our short-term track records. Obviously, there's a lot of shit, you know, we haven't publicized. You know, this is one of our short-term ones. You know, we can see like, you know, 7.5 profit factor, you know, 1.7 expectancy. This is great, right? Now, obviously, this doesn't call fucking trades all the time. It's just on EU on the 15-minute. Now, you can, if you want, you can get the same settings using our scanner. This is the same criteria on the scanner. Right? But obviously, past profits don't guarantee future results. You know, all disclaimers do apply. But the point is, right? We're going to eventually connect this to a PAM where, and it's going to be a fund where, let's say let's say this thing makes, for example, 46R. Whatever you deposit, you'd make 46R on. If that makes sense. Obviously, past profits don't guarantee future results. But that's going to be our next step. I don't know when that's going to be launched. But yeah, that's a lot. Has anyone got any questions? Or are we ready to get into the outlook side of it? Can you provide some statistics or even better track record if you trade personal? Yeah, 100%, bro. Like again, the reason why I prefer personals over, and I just showed you one, but the reason why I prefer personals over funded is because there's no restrictions. You know, like on Top Step, if you lose 3%, your account's gone. You know, they used to have trailing drawdown as well. So the PAM, what do you mean part of it? So yeah, it'll be like there's no like we'll just take like a profit split basically off it. So like, I don't know. That's what we got to figure out. There's a lot of documents and shit we have to do legally. Like, bro, it's a fucking headache, you know, getting this shit FSCA regulated. You know. Eventually we'll have our broker on TradingView. You know, I mean, it costs over 100K. I think it was a year or like I think a quarter. I can't remember. They want a shit ton of money to put it on TradingView. So there's a lot of shit we're gonna do. But like, yeah, when we have the PAM, it'll be a profit split, yeah. Or do you mean like setting up to a copy trade for yourself? What do you mean specifically? Obviously, like if you want to, there are tools you can use to copy trade with a trade radar indicator if you really want to. Yeah. But enough of the yap. Let me get up. Let me stretch. And let's get into the rest of the outlook. So, let me just stop the recording real quick. Guys, give me literally, I need to use the little boys' room. Give me literally like 1 minute. I'll be back. I won't be long. It'll be literally like 1 minute. I won't be long. And then we will continue. I will just do profit split, bro. There won't be a fee for it. But give me literally 1 second. I'm not going for a shit. I need to go for a piss, bro. I'll be back in literally 1 minute. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. The beauties of having an ensuite in the office. Right. Let's get into this. And yes, I did wash my hands. Let's get into it. In terms of the market outlook, did you guys hear the music? I had music on. And for those who are liking the music, it's a great set of DJ. I don't listen to a lot of music, but Apartment Life, fantastic. Probably listen to music like 10% of the time. You know, I even posted a reel yesterday about it. Like, if you listen to too much music, I feel like I personally get like, everything in my life goes downhill. So I don't listen to a lot of music. But anyway, so let's get straight into it. So in terms of, where is my list? So economics. I know about YFED, yeah? So obviously recently, we did start to have some upticks of inflation. And we are at a very pivotal point because this is the first time inflation has started to spike outside of just the energy prices. And if we keep seeing this occur, this is going to make the Fed want to raise rates and cause more strength on the dollar, which will be bearish for Bitcoin and bearish for indices. I mean, you lot already know I'm bearish as fuck on Bitcoin. Like, I am a bear on Bitcoin. Like, I'm looking at Bitcoin all year long, right, to be going down to 40K, even 20K, 30K. It'll be absolutely splendid and juicy. But yeah, so I'm still bearish on Bitcoin. We'll start with Bitcoin, then we'll get onto the dollar. It did it did tickle our supply zone. And one thing I really like about this narrative for a bear market, right, is what we've seen recently. There's two things we've seen recently. Something called the Clarity Act, right? And XRP being approved for banking payments. So why is this bearish, guys? Because you have to observe the masses and do the opposite, right? Normally when it comes to the crypto markets, right, it does the opposite to, where is my drawings? Hold up. What a scam. Anyway, right, so, okay, the point is, when we was, for example, back in 2021 at the bull market, what was the media? Everything was positive, everything was bullish. When we was at the bottom at the start of 2023, everything was negative. You were seeing the FTX exchange collapse. You were seeing the Silicon Valley Bank collapses. There was nothing but negative media on crypto. When we was at all-time highs, what the fuck was Trump saying? Oh, American Bitcoin program. Bitcoin's great. It's gonna shut up, bro. The Trump has got the worst track record in the world. Every project Trump has called has gone to zero, right? These guys are notorious scammers. It's just how it, like, look, I mean, look at his projects, like the Millennium coin, the Trump coin, all the LWFI coin, all gone to zero, right? And what you got to realize is how money's made, right? When the news is telling you to buy Bitcoin, How are you physically able to buy Bitcoin? Because someone's selling it to you, right? Think about that. The media, the media, the news is telling every Tom, Dick, and Harry, buy, 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 buy. And what do we know about statistics? 90 to 95% of traders, and this is what we bro, look up, you'll see it, right? This is legal. You have to disclose. 90 to 95% of traders lose money. This is the reality. Most people do lose money. Why? So you've got to do the opposite. So if most people are now talking about buying crypto, XRP, I hate that coin, right? Has been approved for global payments. And we've now seen the Clarity Act being passed in the US, which is making Bitcoin and crypto like mass adopted. Is that a time to buy? No. No. Now, could I be wrong? Maybe. Maybe. But I'd rather save money and not lose money and be sidelined rather than be in a market that's tanking, if that makes sense, right? So when you're seeing everyone talk about buy Bitcoin, no, it's not the time, right? Now, especially we're seeing inflation start to rise, this could be the beginning of the end. So we've got this supply zone here. We have tickled supply, right? Now, again, if you normally look what happens on Bitcoin, it sells off, redistributes, sells off, redistributes, and sells off. So the question is now, are we going to come up to the 50 and 80% before tanking? Or are we going to enter a bearish market cycle from here? Now we can zoom in on a lower time frame. We can check the scanner actually and see if it's called anything. Isn't it called a short up there? Some extra confluence. No, too high time frame. We'll see. But let's see. Oh damn! It called that fucking UTAD up there. That was great. Let's see. Not yet. Maybe in a week. Or maybe. So I would want to see it probably start breaking these lows. So on a lower time frame, we are still bullish from here. This little order flow. Oh, nice. We'll check in a sec. All right. We are still bullish from here. So I think if we do start breaking down from here, this could be the start of a bearish market cycle. But obviously we have to break it. Obviously, if we do accumulate in here and we do start sort of breaking lower time frame market cycle and we start, got any? Nah, don't trust that. Let's see. Anything in here? Scan for me. No, not yet. Not enough strength yet. So we'll see if we do get some strength on this, if it can start breaking some of these highs, start breaking some of these redistributions. Right, then maybe we could become bullish on Bitcoin. And I say like bullish just short term, up to those highs, maybe up to like 85K, 88K to the 50 and 80 before we short it down. But long term, I'm still bearish on this. It's just a question is, yes, we're bearish higher time frame, lower time frames pulling back. Are we going to break down from here or are we going to continue higher? That's now where we have to let the market confirm it for us and see really what it wants to give, to be honest with you. You know, it's not our job to predict as traders. It's just our job to react. We can start looking at things like ETH to see if we've got any divergence. ETH is in sort of demand at the moment. Again, same thing. There's not really a lot of strength on here yet. We're still in a bearish market cycle. So if we can sort of show some strength on this, we can look for some buys higher on these. Again, nothing like I'm not bullish on these. I'm still bearish, but like it's just, we got to remember, for us to confirm the bear narrative, we have to break this lower time frame demand from here, which we haven't broke yet. Now, when we look at the DXY is starting to accumulate, is starting to show some strength. and I'm not seeing any signs of sellers on this yet. We are potentially reaccumulating on the dollar. Economics makes sense for this to go higher. Potentially. We can check COTs, build some confluence. Let's see. The net long on the dollar. Let's see what seasonalities say. What month are we in? May. Potential. We had a rally halfway. Potential sell-off, it's saying. But we've got to follow the price cycle. So for now, we are still in a bullish market cycle. I mean, yeah. So we are still bullish, right, on this. If we do get this reaccumulation, we can... it's gonna called... I haven't even... On what? On what? I haven't even... On what? But again, you remember, you have to apply logic. Don't just like just because it calls something doesn't mean you have to trade it. You know, don't get the FOMO. And that's where you got to control your emotions. You know, like, bro, it'll call shit 100%. It cumed and it called the spring. All right, we'll get into that. But yeah, I want to see if the dollar can give strength, and if it does, all right, we can keep trying to short euro down. Euro's redistributed. So I'll keep an alert up here if euro wants to come in to supply and redistribute and sell lower. And same thing with the pound. But the thing is, on the pound, there's no weakness just yet. Got some divergence. So the pound's kind of lagging behind. Oh, you played it? Nice, bro. What was it on NQ? AMNQ? We'll check it in a sec. I ain't getting FOMO. You can't FOMO me, man. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, send your chart, bro. Let's see what you got. We can see. Yeah, I like these. These ain't giving a trade today. I want to see dollar really confirm first. Dollar break this high. Then we can look to short Euro USD and GBP USD down. JPY. Wait, I thought I was still in a replay mode. What's JPY doing? I don't want to touch JPY. I haven't got any updates with what they've been doing. Goldilocks. Yay, we're getting a sell-off. Beautiful. Oh, markup's gone, bro. Oh, wait, I'm a different layout. That's okay, we can mark it up fresh. So we've redistributed on gold. Come into supply. What did we do? We distributed on the 1 hour. Come into the 50. Distributed again. And we redistributed out of it. So we can see if gold wants to come back up into here and sell off. What's silver doing? Silver is lagging heavy. So I'd like silver to break this, though. I don't really want to trade without silver breaking these lows. Yeah, we can play a break on that. But these aren't trades happening today, I don't think. I'll keep an eye in this, if this is going to redistribute as well on gold. And we'll see if we can get some shorts. Could dollar come into the bigger distro? See, bro. Yeah, so this is now a cause and effect, brother. All right, market cycle. So when we go back on DXY, what did that distribution do? Why did that distribution form? You know, we're in a bullish leg. So it was just formed to come back to supply to potentially do that. Does that make sense? If it does that, then yeah, I'd kind of be concerned about it, but it hasn't done anything, bro. So I'm not concerned. Like, you know, if it was going to distribute, why didn't we? I mean, there a reason it came? What do you mean? Oh, yeah, it could, but I don't have a manipulation really, bro. Like, I don't really see much of a spring. It's tiny, but so it's kind of like a double bottom. I don't really want to play a double bottom. I'd rather reaccumulate at this point. I mean, it could if it does accumulate in there, bro. Like, you could look for the buy, but my thing is like, we're already starting to show strength from this. Already, we distroed, manipped, already accumulated, and we're already starting to rally up. So I think it makes more sense to. And Euro's already confirmed the redistro. I mean, for a quick scalp as well, keep an eye and here on Euro. I'm not favored on this. Just because DXY has got confluence with this little reaccum. So if we get something in there and the scanner calls something in there and it accumes, I would probably take a trade. That's pretty much it for currencies, man. We can get onto indices. Been cooking with gold on the bot, been shorting it. Nice, brother. Good shit, man. Good shit. So yeah, what are we doing with these? Yeah, I'm not convinced on buyers yet on these things. So let's see where we are. No, I'm not convinced on buyers, bro. We're still in the bearish market cycle, lower time frame. We tried accumulating on Friday, flopped. I'll probably be bearish on these, to be honest with you, bro. I mean, YM's in a fat distro. Rust is short. I don't really see a lot of strength on this, man. I mean, we had price accumulated on tried to accumulate on Friday. We took the bot called a nice buy in there. On the spring, we took that. And then I think it was on MES it called it. Was it on the 1 minute? Yeah. Was it on the 1 minute it called it? When did it call it? Yeah, it called a beautiful little buy in here of the spring in that New York session. What day is it? Tuesday? Oh, that was Friday. Yeah, it called a beautiful little buy in there for the spring. But my thing is like when we had all that effort come in, all right, like why didn't we trail towards the new highs at this point? Like that should have been it. And then we just do this. Like, bro, what the fuck? I don't know if I'm convinced the buyers just yet on this. Let's see. What's it trying to do? So it's trying to accumulate again. One drive, two drive. One drive, two drive, three drive, potential spring on ES. What's YM doing? Let's see. I still think it's in a fat distro, bro. I don't know if I'm 100% convinced on this. I don't want to take a trade this second, man. I want to see a little bit more data come through throughout the session. And we can see how this 15-minute closes if we get an engulf in. So now that I'm set, like, so I want to get like an alert on the 15-minute on MYM if it is going to spit something. And like the 15-minute one here too. Oh. Do we have a defined lagger and leader? So NQ is trying to accumulate in here. Let me turn off backtest mode. Come on, scanner, load. Let's try to accumulate in there, but we're still bearish. I don't want to see it break. I think it's a potential type 4. Yeah, I mean, there's no strength on this, man. We're still in a bearish market cycle. I mean, this could be a larger accum, but like, there's just no defined strength on this yet. YM's trying to cook. We'll see how the 15-minute closes up. I mean, this 15-minute looks like it can call something on YM. The 15-minute closes bullish. Could get a little spring action. And I think the safest play we're trying to play, like, I mean, it's not 100% clear. I'll be real with you. There's no, I mean, NQ and ES are still in demand. So we want to follow the market cycle until it says no. But with lower time frame still bearish, so I like to see the lower time frame give a little bit more strength. It's not about being profitable just trading schematics on one time frame, bro. It's about following a plan. You know what I mean, bro? Like how you become profitable by having a defined set of criteria, and you've had confirmations that your criteria is valid because you've you've showed them your markups, you've done it again and again and again, right? But you can be profitable in seconds as long as you have like a minimum of 2 time frames in your direction. You'll be fine. So like you could use like a seconds based POI and play another seconds schematic, or play like seconds reaccums and redistros. The biggest thing is you just got to do it consistently over time, bro. You know, you can't just do it like after one trade. Um, yeah, this MYM could call a potential spring of the reaccum, you know. I think we could get a spring on this. This could be a spring. If the scanner calls this as a spring, I'll be playing reaccums in here up. So at the moment, good question for laggers and leaders. So on the day, we can see that ES is lagging the most on the day and then Q. But on like an intraday basis, Q then. Oh, ES is lagging, I think, on an intraday basis. No, that's why I'm right there. Yeah, ES is lagging on an intraday basis. They're probably best to play ES if it can show some strength. Looks like we're about to get a potential spring. If these 15 minutes close up bullish, this might give us. I can see them trying to accumulate. They are in a POI. So I don't think there's enough confirmation at this point on the NQ or on the full one. Oh, I got on fucking Friday. What a retard. There you go. It's got to make sure it's on the right days. Oh, it did. All right, there you go. So we've got some absorption on NQ. So it might be worth trying to play this up on ES. Yeah, good call. So now I think ES is lagging. Yeah, ES. Let's see. I called it on the 1 minute on here too. So yeah, I think I'm gonna sit on the seconds and see if we can play a reaccum. So what I want to try and see on this now, you can see something like that, something like that. I'll try and play this. NQ. And come down to mitigate type 4. Oh, in there. I mean, to be fair, bro, like it's aggressive on here. What are we doing? Obviously, I'm not going to play these shorts. Let's see. Let's see what ES does. See if ES is going to come into here and show some reactions. And this is where, like, if I'm trading these, I like to have 3 screens open. I like to have all of the charts open. Open up ES on this chart. And then if ES can show some strength, we might be able to get something here. What's ES doing? This looks like it's starting to go. What is ES doing? If ES can just keep showing strength, it might not be bad trying to play NQ out of this. But we need strength on ES and YM. If we don't get that, there's nothing to trade. Now we can pull back a little bit deeper on this. Let's see how it reacts. Yes, in premium. Let's see how it reacts out of here. I want to see how this 15-minute candle is going to close on YM. But yeah, so if this 15-minute can close pretty bullish, we might be able to try and wiggle something up on these. We are in demand, and I do want to follow it up until... So it's more of an aggressive entry, playing it without these breaks of these highs and these highs. But it doesn't look bad. If ES is going to keep showing strength, that's the question. Are we going to keep seeing strength on ES? It's just got a bit of room to pull lower. If there is a trade, we write about it being demand, and then drop to the blue. Yeah, and just walk it up on the lower time frame, basically. I do think we could probably get a pullback. My trend filter. What does it say if it says bullish or bearish? What does it say? Yeah, I want to see how it reacts from here. I really want to see how it reacts out of this area. We can see some nice reactions out of there. And YM maintains some strength. Yeah, so YM just called something on the 15-minute as well. So we could try and I wonder what the risk reward is out of these. Up to Asia highs at 1 to 4. Up to there's like a 7. I wonder what it would do if we see something in here. Yeah, YM just called something on the 50-minute. This doesn't look bad. This doesn't look bad in here. There's a, what is it, like a 1 to 12? Are we gonna show strength on these? That's what we need. We need some strength. We did just call a, what do we call here? Absorption on the 15. Leader strength. Are we gonna see any leader strength? Again, we are, it's quite aggressive because we are still in this bearish market cycle from here. And from here. Just how strong is this volume? It's called a 50-minute absorption, potential spring. Are we going to see any leaders come in? We don't have any major strength yet on the lower time frames. So NQ doing NQs. Let's see if NQ stuff. We need something to take off. That's what we need. We need some strength. That's what we need. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can see continue strength on it. You should take a student under your wing in Thailand, make him profitable. So I've been waiting to do that. I've been needing some documentation to do that. Because like if you do any sort of physical work in Thailand, you need like work permits and shit like that, you know? So I've been waiting for some documentation, which I should have in like, well, like soon. So I should be able to do that. So yeah, for sure, man. Who wants to be the volunteer? Who wants to come Thailand? Me? Come on, man. First come, first serve. This doesn't look bad. We've got a lot of compliments, man. This really doesn't look bad. There's a little micro in here. So we'll see what happens. I read it. What you got in there, bro? Yeah. Let's see. See if we get the strength. I mean, it looks good. Like, I think we can make a case for these. We've got YM showing. Let's see a little look. Yeah, starting to take off. I like that 50 minutes call. Scanner's calling it on the 15. We called it on NQ on the scanner. So we've got a lot of confluence, bro. With micro in at the open, got a lot of volume. The only thing that could make it perfect is if we see something on the lower time frame just take off. Just give us leaders. I think YM on the lower time frame slowly trying to rally. Well, we'll see. Question is, can we show strength? I mean, YM is starting to is looking like it's got some strength behind it. NQ and yes ain't looking healthy. Let's see what we got. Following the MC. Yep, still bullish. Still bullish. Only thing here, bro, is just be very careful because like we just cracked that high. Please don't want to see something like this. Comes into Ricky. Yeah, that looks good, bro. Looks good to me. I want to see if we're going to see some strength on these. We're not seeing any strength. We're not. We haven't really got a clean leader yet. And again, we are still in like really need to see these break to show some strength because we're still in that bearish market cycle. I already cracked these lows. Yeah, I'm just gonna set an alert on these highs and see if we want to break it. I think if we don't break these highs, there's really nothing to do on this. We're still in a bearish market cycle. We're still, I mean, yes, we're bullish here, but we need at least 2 time frames in our direction, right? We're bullish here, but we're bearish here. So there's nothing to do at this point in time. Yeah, we're just collapsing. Yeah, it looks like we're acting out of supply at this point. It could be a spring still. Let's see. Could be a 1, 2, 3, maybe come into a spring, but like yeah, we need strength on these, man. There's no signs of strength yet. YM hasn't done anything. Obviously, bear in mind that YM obviously boofed already and it's in a larger distro. So you've got to be very careful with these. I want to be super. No need to be super aggressive just yet. Yeah, I think it's best just to wait for a little bit more of a continuation and not trying to pick a bottom because again, like, you know, I mentioned earlier, you know, we tried accumulating on Friday, we just flopped. It could be a larger cum. It could be, but there's no strength yet, you know, so it's just trying to catch a falling knife at this point in time. And again, like, remember, what did we say at the start, right? We need 2 time frames in our direction. So at this point, we haven't broken anything. There's no defined leaders. If there's a leader on the bullish side on the lower time frame, it's now YM. But again, higher time frame is not the cleanest. So we'll see if we can see some strength and these can start invalidating supply. Like let's say we start coming up and we start, we can start breaking some of this supply. Yeah, we might be good for the buys. If not, like yeah, we've got room to come down. And with those inflation readings coming out higher, like this could easily, give some deeper pullbacks, especially down to here. Oh, that's right. No. There's no strength, We said we want to see price break up at least some of these highs. I've got no reason to be that aggressive, especially on a Tuesday. So yeah, I'm going to keep alerts and see if we can start showing more strength. If we can start breaking some of these highs, then we can take that. Strength is invalidating supply. I mean, look, bro, we're like, so what did we say at the start, right? 3 laws of Wyckoff: supply and demand, cause and effect, effort and result. And there's effort, but there's supply and demand. We're still trending to the downside. Look, market's still pushing down. All right, we're still trending down. So strength is price breaking supply. So until we can start doing that, for me, there's nothing really to do on these. Euro and dollar. Euro futures is causing some absorption in here. What are we doing in here? Go a little bit higher. I'm gonna keep an eye on euro. See if we can get some shorts out of these. But yeah, indices need to show a bit more movement. Looks like we're trying to distribute. Let's see how it reacts out of this. Yeah, dollar's got a little. Dollar can keep giving us continuations to those highs. I think we can walk euro up. No, sorry, walk euro down. Just trying to distribute for sure. I'll definitely keep some eyes on Euro USD. But I think I'm gonna grab some food and then see if we can play some more shorts down on Euro. Play some little redistros. But indices, I mean, yeah, unless these things start showing strength, there's nothing to do. Like, we literally have no strength. We need to break them. So until we can break them, yeah, there's nothing to do. Remember, always align the laws of Wyckoff. I'm going to keep an eye on the dollar and euro. I think if there's anything today, it's going to be euro shorts. I mean, this is liking it. Euro futures is called, I think on the 1 minute, it called it. Yeah, it called a short on the 1 minute. I think Amanda's agreeing with it too. So if we can see any little redistros in here to keep selling euro down today, I don't think that'll be a bad play. It's not, well, no, it's not. If we go back to the indices, right? It's not about like just because price reacts out of a fib, it's not about missing an entry, bro. Like don't like, if price does that, am I gonna miss an entry if it rallies? No, I'm not gonna miss an entry because there's no entry. I'm in a downtrend. Like, what entry am I gonna miss? I'm in a fucking downtrend. I mean, yeah, there's an accumulation. It's just if it starts to react, show strength, I'll play a continuation out of it. you know. But like, I'm not going to try and catch the bottom and buy into weakness, you know. I need to see strength. Oh, you took the short on Euro? Nice, bro. Looking good. Definitely distributed up in there. Yeah, I mean, indices, again, that inflation reading can cause them to come a little bit lower, so just be quite careful on them. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we do. If we get any more weakness on these. As long as dollar keeps showing strength, it looks like it is, we could probably walk dollar up, crack those highs. Once dollar cracks the Asia highs, then potential retracements to continue. NQ break futures low. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really going to take a trade in it this second, so I'm not really going to do much on it. If I'm going to short it, I need redistros, and at this point, there's really not much there. Yeah, potential rebalancing. I mean, we've got a lot of divergence with YM. But I'm not really bothered about indices today, man. I think Euro looks better. I mean, yeah, Euro's on one. Euro's already going. Maybe try and short pound down. Yeah, currencies look a lot better today, I think. Yeah, pound came into the 50. Yeah, currencies look a lot better today. Yeah, I'm going to focus on currencies, man. Like, indices is pretty shit. But yeah, we've been there for 2.5 hours. So I'm probably going to grab some food and see what shorts I can play on, like Euro and pound. So, yeah, I already looked at your case study, bro. It looked good. It looked good, man. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go grab some food. I think Nathan should be doing a call tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I'm not too bothered about indices today. I mean, yeah, we could probably get a deeper pullback on these, but like just pretty not clean today, I don't think. We got divergence. YM showing strength. ES and NQ are selling off. Yeah, I mean, maybe we can try and short ES down, YM down if we get something. But I'd rather probably just focus more on the old. It's called an OB/A at the moment. YM. Mitigating that micro. Why? We got a lot of weakness on ES and NQ. But I think currencies look a lot better. Is it an issue that I only trade indices? It's not. I wouldn't say it's an issue, bro. It's personal preference, really. Comes down to you. It's up to you. You can just trade indices if you want. You can add on currencies if you want. I mean, to be honest, the only thing I really focus on at the moment is indices, GU, EU, cryptos, more higher time frame stuff. And then yeah, I mean lower time frame stuff's mainly EU, GU, and indices, really. But I would say just follow your data, man. Like, you're still early on. Just follow your data. Gannon's corner short. This doesn't look too bad. These are already selling off. I mean, like, again, we did see that uptick of inflation, so that makes sense for these to start giving deeper pullbacks. Obviously, we have boofed, so the question is, are they just going to keep redistributing and selling off? Which, I mean, I think it's a potential. We got a lot of room to come down. This is going a short on YM. Doesn't look bad. OB/A. Because we are coming, what we do? We're coming into this little redistro. We've mitigated the 80. We've given a little micro. Micro in there. I mean, sending that down to the lows doesn't look bad. The 1 to 7 is not bad. It's not bad. I'm selling off an ES and NQ. Yeah, I think if anything, we could either, if we're going to play indices, it's try and see if YM wants to follow it down. Now again, this is the point of laggers and leaders, right? So we never got the strength at the open. ES and NQ are selling off. If they keep selling off, it should drag YM down. So we can see if that wants to keep selling off. And then I think currencies look the best though. Yeah, dollar's given that little reaccum. So I still took the euro trade because that one looks like it's going very well. Yeah, whoever took that euro one, eh? You're going quite nice. But yeah, I think definitely these are redistributing like crazy. So I'm gonna definitely be all over these today. And maybe US 30 shorts if we keep seeing that weakness. I mean, that's not a bad little call there. OB+A. ES and Q are selling off. So we can see what we get. Yeah, dollar's pumping. I think that is off the, the higher inflation well, not expectations. We've seen inflation come higher, and if inflation is going to keep coming higher, that could cause a lot more strength coming into the dollar with potential rate hikes maybe in the future. But yeah, brother, for you, for indices, I would say collect data. I would say collect data on it. Like, especially when you're super early into your trading journey, there's nothing wrong with experimenting. I mean, I think trading is always about experimenting. You have a criteria and say, look, I'm going to do something. I'm going to take X amount of trades. So 20 trades with this criteria, and you test it. So you take 20 trades, including currencies and indices, and then test it. You take 20 trades. You could do 2 sample sizes if you really wanted to. You could have one account where you include currencies, one account where you exclude currencies, and see the results. If the account that you exclude makes more profit, follow the data. If the account you include gives more profit, follow the data. Like in trading, everything is about data. I tell everyone, let your data guide all of your decisions. Your data should always tell you what to do. Right, fill the 15. Still trying to call it buy. I don't know if I'm convinced on the buy though, because we just broke on the S and NQ and they're selling off. So probably makes sense to try and take YM down. And then if it can, and then I like currencies the most. I think currency looks super clean. So yeah. All right. Yeah, if we get the redistros, it might be worth trying to short US 30 down. If not, let's leave it. And if currencies want to give the redistros and the mitigation, like she comes up in here, starts distributing, scanner starts calling some shorts, yeah, all over it. If not, then we sit on the hands and we wait. What do you think caused the bullish trends on indices? So it was because we never saw true inflation rise, right? Like the only reason we saw, so obviously if we zoom out, right, and go on indices, like obviously we saw this sell off because obviously the whole war with Iran, right? And inflation was, the fears of inflation were coming up, potential rate hikes. But then basically what happened is it proved that it was like inflationary was being only coming out just for high energy prices. And obviously when inflation is just high energy prices, that doesn't cause bear markets on this sort of stuff. So, uh, so that's what caused that rally. Basically, it was like there was a small fear. I mean, earnings reports were still positive, and there was no real worry about inflation being a concern. Like, there was real no concern about inflation. Like when I say being concerned, it was because. So okay, let's get clear on it, right? Before we go. So what causes bull and bear markets on indices? What causes it? Who knows? I'm dying for a piss again. I've been sipping this drink, bro. This tea, oh my god, it's going straight through me. Who knows what causes bull and bear markets on indices? Right, monetary policy. Right, monetary policy, the central bank. Right, so when the central bank makes decisions, that causes this market to be favorable to go higher or less favorable to go lower. So when we saw, right, for example, back here, we saw this bear market. We saw inflation across the board rise. The Fed risen, increased their rates. The Fed made their rates go higher. And that's what caused the bear market, because when rates go higher, people pull their money out of risk assets and put it into government bonds because because the bonds are correlated with interest rates. So a bond is like a guaranteed return on investment from the US government. So if like interest rates are going up, you're getting a guaranteed higher return from the US government. So when inflation goes up, people seek the bonds. So for example, here, periods of inflation going higher, then it reversed. All right, here, periods of inflation going higher, and then it came out that inflation wasn't actually going higher, and it was perceived as transitionary. But now we're starting to see inflation come out a little bit higher, not just for energy prices. And if that is sustained, the Fed will have to raise rates. And if the Fed raise rates, people will pull their money out of these and go into the government bonds again, basically. So if we keep seeing inflation continue higher, then yes, we can see these things keep selling off. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see what they do. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of indices today. We've got a redistro. We'll see if they want to mitigate. I'm not a big fan of these. I think currencies is a lot easier today on the sell side. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. All right, cool. I'm gonna grab some food and I will do another call again for everyone on Thursday, same time. I believe Nathan should be doing his stream tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'll catch up with you guys. Then anyone needs me, reach out, and I'll see you guys at the top. From the top, because the bottom is way too crowded. Take care, boys and girls. Oh, why is my camera so high? I just realized that. Why did no one tell me the camera was so high this whole time?